Hey y'all, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to set up my son's bullet journal for January 2025. We've already set up the annual pages. Let's go ahead and get started. If you missed the setup for this bullet journal, that was yesterday's video. I'll link the playlist for his setup down below. We've moved from an A5 to a traveler size notebook. A little bit of a challenge spacing wise, so some things are going to change as far as what my son likes in his monthly setups and all of that. We went ahead and set up our annual pages, and now we're getting ready to set up for January. We are going to kick off January with a theme that I am calling Solar Voyage. One of Kenny's favorite movies of all time is Treasure Planet. He's a 90s baby and he just really loves that movie. In his very first bullet journal, I actually did a Treasure Planet theme for him 1 month. But since we're celebrating all things sun, I thought we would give a little wink, nudge, nudge, nod to Treasure Planet, but do a theme based on solar winds and the spaceships that we can have that we put a sail on now, the solar sails that rely on the solar winds and all of that stuff to propel it forward. I don't know the science behind it. I just think they're really, really cool. That's what we're going to do. Like I said, he didn't give me any definitive paths to follow other than some mythology and some other stuff, but that wasn't going to get us through 12 months and it wasn't going to be a good variety. So we're sticking in some variety that is still sun related. I have all my paints because we're sticking with the gold themes. I have various Pigma microns as well as a gold gel pen. And then this is the same Ohuhu marker I used in the setup to highlight every other line kind of situation. And we'll just use some of those same supplies. He did ask that there be more consistency over the course of 2025 in the color palette. Now, finding a solar wind sail image that I felt like I could even copy or come up with some version of my own proved to be quite difficult. I'm not gonna lie, this is an AI generated image. I understand a lot of the concerns and stuff behind it. I'm not selling this to make any kind of money. So we're going to go ahead and use it. Hang on, I'm trying to get it right onto the edge. It's hard for me to see where that edge is right now. I think that's as close as we're going to get. But yes, I'm very well aware of some of the concerns and things around AI imagery. There's things that I have worked hard on that I would not want anyone to steal. This is a little out there. This is a little odd of a choice for a theme. And we just have some swirly space and a ship with a solar sail. So I'm really not that worried about this. I just wanted to be upfront with y'all that when I can't find what I need, we might have to go elsewhere. Like this image is from Shutterstock. I can tell you exactly where that came from in case you want to go out and buy it yourself. And this one did not. This took quite a lot of AI finagling, if you must know. There was no real easy way to describe it, but eventually I got something that I kind of like, and it gets the vibe across, so we're okay with that. But I don't intend to use AI every month, is what I'm saying. Okay, we have those trimmed off. I got it in a little crooked, so we're gonna grab the black brush pen and fill in just a little bit. It's not gonna be perfect, but at first glance, you won't know that it's there and that we had to use the black pen to fill that in. There we go. Super easy. I just put in the same calendar that I created here for January. Didn't even change the size, just dropped another one in there. And the reason that I did that is because we could either have taken 2 pages to do a grid style calendar, which Kenny is used to, or we could pivot and do a linear calendar like the original bullet journal method uses. And I gave him that choice. I said, do you want me to use more pages to give you a grid style calendar, or do you want me to try linear? And he said, well, let's try linear. Let's see how it works. So that was his choice. We are going to go ahead and get this set up. We're just going to number it 1 through 31. And I'm also going to put in the days of the week, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in there as well. And probably going to do that with gel pen. Now, if you watch the setup, I did use some of these gold letters in his annual setup. They're very, very fiddly. I also don't know how many of them I have as far as trying to use them for, like, I would run out of W's probably about here and then not have enough kind of thing. So we're going to use what we've got, and that means using a combination of normal pens and markers. See, is that going to go all the way down? Yeah, that's going to go all the way down. And here I'm just going to put a solid line, and in the white we'll write the dates, but then I'm going to fill in this other one and make it solid black, and within it we will write the days of the week, theoretically. And I'm going to put the dates in first because this is going to block off my dot grid and my dates will help me keep in alignment. But let's go ahead and fill this in with some solid black. The reason I am using the Pigma Micron brush pen is because then I can come right over top of it with just about anything, and that black will have set and it won't run. It won't run if I paint over it. It won't run if I use the gold gel pen over it, and a water-based marker like a Tombow will have that running effect for a lot of things. So the Pigma Micron it is. And I've been doing this long enough that I have accumulated my Pigma Microns over time. I think the very first set I purchased had, 4 pens in it. And there was a brush pen like this one. And there was a 0.05. And there was maybe a 0.03. And a 1, I think. And they come in all different kinds of packs, and they actually come in all different kinds of colors. If you've been around for a little while, you've seen me use the sepia or brown toned ones, and you've also seen me use a warm gray and a cool gray in these as well. And they can be pricey, and that's why I said they have been accumulated over time. I did not get them all at once. I definitely have added 2 here and there. I have a lot of the 0.05 because this used to be my everyday carry writing pen when I was using a dot grid journal. And then I moved to the Sterling and Common Planner and that changed. So I have a whole bunch of these because I bought a pack one time of all just 0.05. But I have everything from a 0.005 up to a 12, I think now. We're going to number this and I'll be right back. And now I'm going to put in the days of the week. All right, the gel pen's going to need to dry. The other thing that I'm going to do is I am going to do a line highlight on our weekends just to make it abundantly clear when those are. So the 4th and the 5th, the 11th and the 12th, 18th and the 19th, and the 25th and the 26th. I did go ahead and make a January header for this page. I think I'm going to use this really skinny washi tape that's in the same color and frame it out. So we'll put January in first, just like that. And use this washi tape just right there. This is so tiny, I'm just going to tear it with my thumb. And again there. And that is our cover page and a calendar. I am going to add some gold paint to this. I want to do the whole setup first and then come back in and add the paint so that I can paint, let it dry, paint, let it dry, go on with the rest of my day kind of situation. So we're going to go ahead and move on as long as our days of the week are dry. This is going to be one of Kenny's standard pages that we've been using for the last year. And that's a notes page on one side and a spending log on the other. So I have made some headers that look like this. And I've been playing with the fonts and sticking icons in the fonts to go along with our themes. Some of them have some space imagery and some of them have some sea imagery to go with our space voyage theme and our treasure planet knockoff. I'm going to stick this notes header down here just to balance out the spend log header up there. And then after we put the other elements in, we'll decide if we need to add some washi tape, draw some borders. Again, setting up in this traveler side is completely new to me. So it's a whole different planning paradigm to see where everything's gonna fit. But this spending log, we're gonna put in some columns like we usually do. We just have date, the amount, and the description of whatever it is he purchased. And then he can total down here at the end. In previous iterations during 2024, I also put in 2 columns on whether what he purchased was a need or a want, trying to get him aware of those particular buying habits. And if we need to put that back in, well, maybe I'll go ahead and put it in. Description, need, want. I probably will. I think I have room. In fact, I probably wrote it that way on purpose. This brand new journal needs just something underneath it to give us a little bit of stability, and that'll work. I used the box for his annual setup, but just need a little something. Sometimes I just use my eraser. Sometimes I'll just brace this left side in early on in a journal's life cycle with my eraser. This is just a super simple grid with rows and columns. Right, and then up here, I'm going to go ahead and color this in to make our top row just a little bit more graphic. And I'll use the gold gel pen to write in those categories. All right, so again, we have date, which we'll just put DT. And I only give him 2 columns because he knows that this is 2025 and he knows that this is January. So he really only needs to put like 15 or 20 or 3 for whatever date that he purchased the item because it's relegated just to that month. And then again, N and W stand for need and want. And then if he wants to, he can put in the total for the month. The other thing we're going to do is, I think I designed it right, where I can do an every other line highlight. We're just going to try it, and I'm going to try to not smudge this total down here. Just like that. And his notes page is really just, that's it. It's a notes page. So you'll see I do have tiny little markings here. This says turtle, and that's because I have these images that I've either pulled from clip art or created. That one says shooting, and I'm going to assume that that's that shooting. It's been a minute since I made these. And this turtle we're going to put up there. And then to frame it out, I think I'm going to try to use this washi tape. It's a little bit older, but it is sticky. I am concerned I don't have enough on this roll. So I have some backups, but we're going to try this one first. Let me go ahead and put in our turtle, erase my pencil marks there, and our shooting star ship. All right, let's see if I have enough of this to make this work. Well, good. We had enough of that. I do need to trim off just a little bit up there. But otherwise, I think that looks great. Like the cover page, I do want to add some metallic sparkle, but we're going to go ahead and keep going until we are ready to double back. And we are stepping into the weeklies. And there's a couple of different ways we can do this. So February, I'm probably going to set up his weeklies a little bit different even than this and see if there is a format he likes the best. But for now, we'll have a week on every page. And January has 5 weeks, so we'll have a 5th one of these as well. And they're all going to be very, very similar to this. We'll go ahead and, again, grab that Pigma Micron, draw our boxes, and then come stick in the stickers that I have made. It does take me time to make the stickers, but it's the kind of thing that I can do if I'm working on digital art. I can do while I'm watching television or on lunch breaks from work. It's a little less labor intensive than me drawing out his art every month like I have for the last 4 years. And he's okay with that. It also provides a consistency that maybe not necessarily my art always would. So as you can see, we have these yellows and oranges and blacks that we're going with to have that consistency all year long. And it just shows how you can fully decorate a bullet journal without feeling like you have to have some sort of artistic talent to do so. That's why people who make and sell great stickers are out there. I just happen to be making these for my son, and some of these are combinations of clip art. This little ship, this little shooting swoosh was one graphic in Canva. This star was another graphic in Canva that I just added to the end of this swoop. This ship was yet another graphic in Canva that already existed. And then these sparkles on top of the ship were, again, a 5th element that I added into to make one sticker without me having to draw anything from scratch. That's the name of the game right now. If you've been around for a minute, you know it hasn't been the easiest year for the Beth and Beyond fam, and just needed to be able to still set this up. The boy still wants me to do, he could just revert to just a really plain bullet journal, but he does still want me to set this up for him, so we're doing that. So what I've done here is that up at the top of the page, we are going to have his boxed calendar sort of thing for the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where he can put appointments, or if there are to-dos that he wants to put on a specific one, celebrations, holidays, that sort of thing. And then my son prefers to use an Alistair method to-do list or actions list. And essentially what that is that you list your actions here. You have Monday through Sunday here. And after he lists the actions for the week, he can then assign them to the date that he wants them to go on to and move them around even. So if he assigns something to a Monday and he doesn't get to it, he can put an arrow forward and assign it to then Thursday. And then he knows that at one point in time he assigned this here, but he didn't get to it, so it's gotten moved to another day in the week. That's how an Alistair method works. You can use them for habit trackers. You can use them for a lot of different things. And it is his preference. It's the way he prefers to have his action list over the course of the week and the month. I decided I am going to go ahead and make these top ones solid black. We also had a Faramir interlude that I had to cut out. If he had actually jumped into camera, I probably would have left him on and let y'all see him, but he just wanted to rub on the mic. We'll see what that sounds like when I go to edit, but yeah, you probably won't hear it. I'll probably cut it out. I just looked at him like, really? That's all you want to do, Mr. Cat? Rub on the microphone. I'm also going to do an every other line highlight down here just to make it a little bit easier for his eyes to see. And I've also been having a little bit of an internal debate on how to put in the dates in these boxes. Again, a lot of different ways that we could do this. I think for this month, I'm actually going to put in some dots with this dot marker. This one is from Shuttle Art and it's from Amazon. And we'll just put in the dots where we are going to put in the dates and the weekday. And I decided on this because of sort of the spacey theme. We have a lot of circles going on with the sun and the planets, and it also makes it stand out a little bit more than just blending right into the white box. So using the 0.05 Pigma Micron, we'll go ahead and put those in. Week 1 of January actually starts on December 30th, which is a Monday. So we'll have Monday 3, 0, Tuesday 3, 1, and then Wednesday the 1st. And then Thursday is the 2nd, Friday is the 3rd, all the way through to Sunday the 5th. And that's how those will look. And of course, I want to give him some dates up here to, keep it all straight in his head so he knows what week he's on. All right, and then of course I have some headers. So this is week 1. Y'all. This is why I should always stop and wait for things to dry before I try to erase things. All right, hang on very carefully. Now I have options. Okay, I have options. First of all, we're going to clean up the gold. I have plenty of sticker paper. Y'all know I use a lot of just regular old sticker paper, not the washi paper, sticker paper. In fact, I have some in front of me because I have book covers already printed for some things. So look, this is a piece of regular old white label paper. I am going to cut out a little strip from this and slap it over that boo-boo. There are some mistakes that I don't fix, and there are some that you just have to. And I don't believe it's a job for a white gel pen. I might try it first. Wait for your gel pen to dry. That's why I don't love using gel pens. I don't love it anymore. But the boy really likes that gold. He likes it a lot. Let me see if I can get this rolling and if I can cover that up. I don't know, that might work. The tricky part is going to be the black and it has been a minute since I used this trick, talked about this trick, did anything with this trick. But one of my favorites used to be to go ahead and put down some black and then draw with gold gel pen, whatever I needed to, or I would go ahead and even write with the gel pen or draw with the gel pen. And then I would come in with a Pigma Micron brush pen and it would just separate around the gold and leave the gold behind like magic. And it might, since this is smeared, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to color over top of it without it separating off. And it looks like I am. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. But when in doubt, I could have slapped some sticker paper over it. And that's why I keep any sizable cutoffs. I probably have more than I'm ever going to use, but you just never know. That's just fine. And then somewhere along the way, I smushed that one too. I have headers. And there's a situation with the headers because I've become attached to this font. I like this font. See the 3 and how far it dips down? So I tried some other font numbers to go with the font that I already like. Couldn't find one that I liked. I could cut off my numbers and then center them on the page with their existing, like I can cut off the one so that I can move it up and make it be in the center. And I think maybe that's what I'm going to do, which means because I want to use this font all year, unless he says to me, Mom, I'm real tired of that font, then I'm committing myself to constantly fixing the number font. I'll figure it out. We are going to put our week up here. If I can get it straight, which apparently is also an issue. There we go. And then we put this number 1. Well, it's a little high, but I'm not going to move it now because I'll get more ink on my fingers and transfer it to the book, and I don't want to do that. So let's cut off the 2 here and do week 2. All right, I have another conundrum. Forgot that I made myself some little headers that say actions, and now I've written actions, and I don't really like the way it looks. So we're going to fill this in with the black like this, and then I'll rewrite my Monday through Sunday. You know, not everything goes to plan. I'm not going to do it in this setup because I've already started, but then that's a prime example of why I should. In the annual setup, I didn't like blocking off to do the every other highlight with the washi tape, but I think I am in future setups going to block off when I'm doing this heavy black outlining so that I can make sure it gets really crisp and doesn't look like that. All right, and then I also need to know where to start writing. And so it's 7 over. I do have this little line here so that I can get my days of the week each in their own box. I thought I'd be done by now. I haven't even gotten to the paint yet. Oh, Lord of mercy. What? It's fine. This is the first one. This is the first one. We just didn't know how this was going to go. Figuring it out. You know, he had kept his weeklies the same for so long that they were just like easy for me to do. These are the little actions headers that I made to go here. And it might be a little bit weird that it's above the black line, but it also helps sort of fill in this space as well. This is kind of a weird space, and I didn't necessarily want to put art in it every time either. Okay, speaking of art, we are going to put this little astronaut over here, and he is space surfing, like he's also using solar wind, and then just another ship. I put rings around it like it's Saturn, and we're going to put it right there. All right, now that we've done this, it's very heavy up here, including the art. And so we're just going to draw a single black line down here on the bottom. I could use some washi tape, but it's not going to be heavy enough. So I definitely want just that heavy line on the bottom to anchor this, and it'll make a really big difference. Just like that. See, it pulls all that black together by adding that line down there at the bottom. All right, now I'm probably going to add some gold sparkles on this page. There's really not a whole lot of room for washi tape. We could make it work if we needed to. But again, this is our first set of weeklies that we're doing in this traveler's notebook. So we're gonna move on to the next set of weeklies. I've already put my little artworks in here so that I know what goes where. And we're gonna set this up pretty much the exact same way. One word of warning, when you're using the really thick Pigmamicrons, you will transfer black ink to the edge of an acrylic and eventually to the edge of your fingers. That's what this is. I do have a tissue nearby where I can just do this, see, and get some of that black off before I move on to the next one. Oh, there was a lot on that side, see? And I don't have to do it after every line, but eventually it will build up and it'll start transferring to your fingers, and then you'll transfer it to your face and everywhere else. So as long as I'm going from right to left because I'm right-handed, you would probably be going the other direction if you're left-handed. I'm always using the same side of the ruler, and I'm not touching it anywhere. So I can pretty much make all of these vertical lines like that, and then come in, get a clean side of this tissue, and then come in and do that before I move on, just to keep your fingers clean. And then do the same thing from top to bottom and wipe it off again. And I always wipe it off before I put it down to then pick it up again, because if I put it down, then inevitably I'll pick it up on one of the edges that is covered in ink. Eventually it will dry of its own accord, but you don't want to wait for that. Okay, I do remember this when I was doing my pencil sketches. This is one of those pages where the dot grid is not perfectly aligned from one side to the other. See, there's the one and the other one's just a hair above it, which is pretty irritating, not gonna lie. But it happens to the best of manufacturers and to the best of brands. And unless your entire journal is totally cattywampus, it's not a reason to get all persnickety with customer service and want to send your journal back, because it just happens. And it's not on every page at all. Most pages are lining up. And then because we know we're going to need it, we're going to go ahead and do that heavy line at the bottom. I hit that ruler with the tissue. You'll very rarely see me do this. I typically do it off camera. And just like the last one, we're going to do our dots over here for our dates. Now, if you wanted to use a traveler's notebook for your bullet journal and you don't use like a rolling weekly, you could fit 4 weeks on this page. You could do 7, 7, 7, and 7, and you wouldn't have a whole lot of room for any artistic elements, maybe some washi tape and a sticker here and there inside your weeklies, but it's totally doable. In fact, it's kind of tempting. I'm not going to do it. But the more I played with this and tried to figure out how I wanted to line things up, I was like, oh, well, we could do that, or we could do this, and we could make that work. And it's been a whole thought process. And he may come to me and go, Mom, my brain's not following what you did with the date boxes. He may be like, I don't like the way you did the vertical Thursday 16. He may want it to go this way. He may want it to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I went this way. So we're going to have those conversations. But this first one is basically a surprise. Like, he has no idea what's coming. He has no idea what the vibe is for the journal as a whole, other than, Mom, let's do the sun. I mean, that's all I got. Monday, Tuesday. Almost messed that up. Even when I asked him what he wanted to name his journal, and he sat on it for 2 weeks. And then I just randomly one day got a text that said Apollo, and I knew immediately what it meant because I knew he was going to name this journal Apollo. I don't even know why I asked him. Sometimes we mothers, we just know. We just know where our kids are going to go with their whole vibe. Okay, this is January, 13th through the 19th. This is the 20th through the 26th. All right, and let's do our every other line highlight. And there we go. And now we have week 3 and we have week 4. We have our actions stickers. We're going to put those in first because they don't require any adjustment like the others do. You know, I couldn't possibly pick an easier font to work with. And I was committed to it before I tried the numbers. And then I tried the numbers and I thought, oh no. Okay, I am going to cut off the 3. And with the 3 gone, I'm then going to trim a little closer to the word. It doesn't have to be perfect because, again, it's pretty see-through once it goes down. We have to erase things. Hopefully our gold is dry and we won't smudge it everywhere. At least you get to see me cover up mistakes, right? Especially since sometimes I'm like, I don't bother. I just, yeah, there it is. There it is, and we're going to leave it. Which, honestly, I think more of us need to normalize that situation. There are plenty of us who do show our mistakes on camera, but there are plenty who do not, and we need to normalize that. It's a little bit better. It was so much farther down, like this one. I mean, that's so far. I don't understand why. If you're a font guru and you know why some fonts do that or are designed to be that way, shout out in the comments. Justify that for the rest of us because, boy, is it irritating. Yeah, that looks so much better than if I'd left it the way that it actually printed. All right, and then we're just going to stick this little guy over here, this little ship in a sunset. Again, we're doing sun things, and then this is just a telescopy situation. We're going to add some gold. But first, we got to do another week. Yes, we have to do another week. But we're going to do a week, and then we're going to... I wonder if that can fit there. I might play with changing my mind now that I'm looking at my notes on what I want to go where. So this is going to be a 5th week, obviously. And then we're just going to go ahead and put in a reflection for the month. And I was going to make this one down at the bottom, gratitude list. But I've been rethinking it because normally we have a playlist in Kenny's journal. And I think I'm just going to give him a spot to put in some songs of the month. That's what we're going to do. But otherwise, this has got like, how was January? What were your wins? What were your trials? All of that sort of thing. We're going to do all the line work first, both pages, because it is faster that way to just do it all while I have the same implements in my hand. What I haven't decided is if on this reflection page, if I'm going to make the really bold black headers. I kind of don't want to. So we may do something a little bit different on that side. All right, moment of truth, because I'm going to color these in really dark, and I just don't know over there yet. Still thinking, so I'm going to go ahead and put my dots in. I don't know, I think I'm going to make those headers in the yellow. I'm just going to go over it a couple of times to make it a little bit darker than this naturally goes down. Also need some dots here. And we also need our anchor line. Forgot about the anchor at the bottom. All right, let's see if I can get these dates correct because I covered up my cheat sheet. So we have Monday, and then we have 2 days of February in this week. So Saturday and Sunday, the 1st and the 2nd. And we always set them up this way. He and I both, it's just something he inherited from me, is that I put the week in the month that has the most days. So this is 5 days from January, 2 days from February. So it goes into January. I don't stop my months like at Friday and then set up 2 boxes in wherever February is going to land. We don't do that. And I offered when I first started doing a bullet journal for, well, not his first one. His first one was a surprise. And so that one I just set up that way. And he's like, oh no, that makes sense. That makes total sense, Mom. And let's just stick with that. And I said, okay, great. I don't have to change my thinking when I'm setting up my journal for him at all. But so we have how was January. We have wins. We have trials. Trying to be more mindful of where time goes. So I want him to reflect on that. And then I want him to pick a focus for February, and then January, songs. And he can put a little mini playlist down there since we don't have space for a whole big long one. The other thing I wanted to do on this page was most of the time I do some ruled lines. I think I'm going to do that, but I think I'm going to do it with maybe this end of this dual tip dot marker. I don't want it to be super dark and heavy. And I could grab a different micron, but I think that'll work just like that. And the only time we use these ruled lines is when I give him reflection prompts that are kind of like mini journal entries. He does keep a separate journal. He also has a separate like spiritual journal. That's where he does his goal planning and stuff. So that's one of the reasons we didn't set up any goal planning spreads in the front of this one. He had them in his 2024 journal, but he also uses a Magic of Eye planner and journal. And so that's where he's put his goal setting is in there. So he asked me to not set those kinds of pages up in this one. And not only do I have him bullet journaling, he now has multiple journals in his lineup. And again, the Magic of Eye planner was a Christmas present for him last year. And he fell in love with it. I had to buy him another one for this year, for 2025. We have our week 5 header. We have our actions. I need to erase a whole lot of pencil lines. That's okay. We'll do that later. I'm putting these stickers down before I do the writing in the gold gel pen on purpose. And then I also have this reflect header. Then of course our art. So we have this ship, have this whale, and we have this swoopy ship. And I was looking to see what would fit where. I kind of didn't want to put the whale and this ship side by side because they're just too similar. I think, pretty sure that whale goes that way. There we go. Now I'm debating ship. But the whale's a little bit more sizable. Okay, commit, Beth, commit. Let's put the whale here just because it is of a good size. I'll put the little ship here and the swoopy ship. Say that 10 times fast. Everybody say it with me now. Swoopy ship. We're gonna paint. If you missed Kenny's last setup, these are Coliro watercolors, Coliro. Get them off Amazon. Our favorite and the one that we're using in this journal right now is this one right here that is getting really close to being on it, deathbed. It's getting as much out of it as I can. It doesn't matter how much I try to mix things from around the edge because I know it's going to end up with a cavern in the middle, and somehow it always does anyway. Metallic watercolors have to be activated. You have to hit them with the water and give them just a minute to just do their thing. Just let it become the metallic that it was born to be, I beg of you. It's just waiting for you to give it a minute to fully show all its metallic glory. Again, I'm trying to mix from this top ridge and let it fall down into the well here in the middle. And it just gets more and more gold as it goes down. And what we're going to do is just give little bits here and there a wash, which we did with this gold right there on this printable to give it an extra shimmer. We're going to do the same thing in some key areas. I'm going to do this little planet. And then I'm going to do part of this sail. Just like that. I don't want to do the whole thing because it'll take away our dimensions. I'm going to do a little bit right here just because we did the same thing on our calendars. Right. And then I could, and I'm not gonna, I could choose to get the really fine point brush and go over every single one of these gold letters. Not gonna do it. That is insanity. All right, I made that little panel a little bigger than it was supposed to be, but it'll be all right. Two things about doing this. One, I'm painting over top of washi sticker paper that's already been printed on. So the sticker paper is also acting a little bit of a blocker to keep any paint from seeping through. This is also really thick paper. It's 160 GSM and it's not going to go through, but the washi paper is helping also as a blocker. And then it's also, I'm dipping my paint in here and then I'm getting most of it off. Because again, I just don't want to plop a whole bunch of gold paint onto the page. We want it to have that depth and dimension as well. I'm probably going to put a little bit right here. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush either, so that we don't overwhelm it. And there we go. We've got some gold. And then just because I can't help myself, I'm going to give us a couple of little dots and sparkles over here. All right, we're going to let all that dry, and then we're going to move on to the next page and give it a little zhuzh as well. Okay, I'm back. It was longer for me than it was for you. I did also add just some additional little gold sparklies here to pull it all into up here, and I smudged one. It's fine. It'll be all right. That's good. And we're going to peek here and see where we can possibly add. I'm thinking I'm not going to do any sparkles, but I do maybe want to just add a little bit of gold to this star down here, the swoop leading up to it, just to make it a little more special. And then just a little bit on the swoop. Not a lot. I don't want to overwhelm the swoop. Blend it up a little. I'm covering up the more orangey bits of it, but that's okay. Maybe just highlight some of these stars and things that are in this picture. Like, put a little gold dot there, one there. I know I said I wasn't going to do any stars and stuff, but I'm going to take a couple just off of the black to make it look like it organically came to be. And because I didn't use the gold gel pen, it'll be so much faster for it to dry. I think I'm also deciding that I want to put some on this black hole thingy up here. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and flip over to the next page and see what we can do over here, because I do feel these are a little on the lackluster side. I'm wondering if maybe I shouldn't have put something in this gap. But it's the first month we're using this journal. We're not going to worry about it all that much. I'm going to do the same thing that I did and just bring some gold dots off of here. And I'm not going to use the gold gel pen first. It would be probably a little more vibrant if I did, but we're just going to go right in with little teeny tiny dots. This already has some, so I'm going to highlight one that's already on there and one that's already there, and then just add a couple more. I'm trying to keep them as close to a circle as I can. There's that one. And then here, again, going in on some of the existing stars, then also bringing some off. And I think I'm going to keep the ones that I'm bringing off the page to this side because he's flying through space this way. Otherwise, we'll just do that. Let's check out weeks 3 and 4. He's a little more subdued. But I think we can give our star here, because it's white, I think we can make it a gold star. If I can keep the rays super thin. Yeah, that seemed to work shockingly well. Yay me. And then I could probably put a couple of just little things. Just little things. Same here. Just mix in some gold with the black that's already there. And then I could also make the lens of our little telescopy thing gold. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, y'all, one more page. Let's look and see what we are working with. So yeah, we can put some sparkles there. We can give our swoopy sail a whole situation. Let's see what we can do. And I'm be honest, if this was my bullet journal for me, I probably wouldn't go this extra mile. But this is not my bullet journal. It is not for me. And the things that we do for our kids. It's been a rough year on all of us. So we're gonna do some extra special stuff. Just some extra special stuff. Every time I do his journals, I get stuck with the paint or the gold or something. He's extra. So there's a little bit there, and then we'll stick a little bit down here with our space whale. And Miss Space Whale is just kind of a nod to a lot of different sci-fi things. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Doctor Who. I mean, just pick one. I was like, I have to have a space whale. We're gonna make a space whale in our solar voyage. Just mixing that solar theme with the space theme, with the voyage and sailing theme. It all works. Y'all, that is it. That is my son Kenny's bullet journal setup for January 2025. We have our calendar and cover page here for our solar voyage theme, his spending log, a page for him to take notes throughout the month. Week 1, week 2, weeks 3 and 4, week 5, and then a reflection page. So again, this is a whole new setup, a whole different size that we are playing with for 2025. And a whole different theme, a much lighter, sunnier set of themes than 2024. If you like this video, you know what to do. Please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next one.